In March of 2018, the NBL announced a program called the Next Stars Program. The program would give young NBA prospects an alternative to the traditional college basketball pathway, and on August 7, 2018, the first ever NBL Next Star would be signed, and it would be five-star prospect Brian Bowen, who was ranked 14th in ESPN's Top 100 list just a year prior. Bowen would sign with the Sydney Kings, which was a very talented squad highlighted by former number 1 overall pick and NBA champion Andrew Bogut. After a season filled with ups and downs, Bowen would average 6.5 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, along with 0.6 assists on 46% shooting from the field. After just one season, Bowen would declare for the 2019 NBA draft, but unfortunately he would go undrafted. Luckily, in June of that year, Bowen would sign a two-way contract with the Indiana Pacers, where he would spend the next 2 years until signing with the Iowa Wolves of the NBA G League. In 2023, Bowen is recovering from a devastating torn Achilles injury that he suffered in March of 2022. He last played with the Iowa Wolves and was averaging 15 points, 8.7 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists a game. R.J. Hampton. In May of 2019, the five-star NBA prospect would sign with the New Zealand Breakers. This news shocked the basketball world due to R.J. Hampton being such a household name. Hampton held offers from Duke University, Kansas, and Kentucky. Hampton was extremely smart and could have gone to just about any college thanks to his impressive grades. Hampton signing with the Breakers was very shocking to many. He would average 8.8 points, about 4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game, and 40% shooting from the field. After just one season in the NBL, Hampton would declare for the NBA draft, and he would get drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, but shortly after would be traded to the Denver Nuggets, where he would only play 22 games before he was sent off to the Orlando Magic, where he remains today. It is unclear what the future of Hampton will look like. I believe his time in Orlando could be coming to an end since the Magic have taken the team in a new direction. LaMelo Ball. I will keep this one short since it was clear that LaMelo would become a star when it was announced he would be headed to Australia, but what came next was truly special. Ball would go on to average 17.7.6 rebounds and 6.9 assists in his one and only year in the NBL. As we all know, LaMelo would go on to be drafted by the Charlotte Hornets with the 3rd pick of the 2020 NBA draft, and today he is an all-star who has established himself as an elite NBA player with averages of 24 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, and 8.6 assists per game. Terry Armstrong. A projected second-round pick who was expected to thrive in the NBL was the narrative surrounding Terry Armstrong, but unfortunately this wasn't the case. Armstrong would never receive a chance in the NBL due to a lack of minutes. After only appearing in 8 games and averaging 0.3 points, rebounds, and assists per game for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, Terry would declare for the NBA draft, and to the surprise of no one, he went undrafted. In 2023, you can find Terry playing in Serbia's Division II league, Didi Luzada. After being selected 35th overall in the 2019 NBA draft, the Brazilian would be sent over to Australia to improve, and he would actually end up spending 2 years in the league with the Sydney Kings, where he averaged 9.1 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, along with 1.8 assists per game. Didi was then signed to a 4-year NBA contract with the New Orleans Pelicans, but was traded, and since then he has played with the Portland Trail Blazers, and now he is currently playing for the Cleveland Charge of the NBA G League, where he averages 9 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game. Mojave King. The 17-year-old signed with the Cairns Taipans in March of 2020. He was regarded as a lottery pick on some NBA mock drafts, but unfortunately he saw his stock fall after a season with the Taipans where he averaged 6.2 points per game, 2.4 rebounds, and half an assist a game. After not declaring for the 2021 NBA draft, Mojave King would return to the NBL, but this time he would sign with the Adelaide 36ers, but that would become a massive mistake, and King would only average 3.7 points, 1.1 rebounds, 0.8 assists per game, and he would be off of NBA radars. In the summer of 2022, he would leave the NBL for the NBA G League Ignite, where he has revived his draft stock and he is playing some of the best basketball of his career. King is ranked 57th in this year's ESPN NBA mock draft. Josh Giddey. When Giddey signed with the NBL in 2020, he was an under-the-radar prospect who wasn't generating much NBA draft buzz, but that would change the moment he suited up for the Adelaide 36ers, and the teenager would average 10.8 points per game, along with 7.4 rebounds and assists. Giddey would be drafted by the OKC Thunder, and since then he has made the NBA All-Rookie team and has had multiple games with a triple-double for the Thunder. Justinian Jessup. After being drafted by the Warriors in the late second round, the American sharpshooter would be drafted and stashed in Australia with the Illawarra Hawks, where he would spend 2 years and average 13.4 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 1.4 assists on 35% shooting from the three-point line. Jessup would have short stints in the NBA Summer League, but unfortunately the Warriors never called Jessup back to the United States. In the summer of 2022, Jessup would leave the Hawks and sign in Spain. Ousmane Dieng. The 6 feet 11 inches unicorn was a huge signing for the NBL, and he was the first ever European next star. Coming into the NBL season, he was a projected lottery pick, but unfortunately he started off the year struggling a ton in New Zealand. After the slow start, he would be injured, but after returning from his injury, he performed like a top 10 pick, and after finding his footing, he would completely turn his season around. Dieng averaged 8.9 points per game, 3.1 rebounds, and 1 assist. He would declare for the 2022 NBA draft, where he would be selected with the 10th pick by the New York Knicks, but a couple seconds later he would be traded and would join former NBL next star Josh Giddey and the OKC Thunder, where he currently plays. Makur Maker, the former 5-star recruit, made the jump to the NBL in 2021 after a disappointing season in college. He joined a stacked Sydney Kings team that had about 7 legitimate NBA-caliber players, and after dominating the regular season, Sydney would win the NBL Grand Finals, which made history due to Maker becoming the first next star to win a championship. Maker averaged 7.8 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, and about an assist a game. After his impressive season in Sydney, he would declare for the 2022 NBA draft, but was undrafted. After going undrafted, Maker signed with the Capital City Go-Go of the NBA G League, where he is currently playing today, and he averages 5.2 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, and 0.4 assists per game. Tom Digbo. The high-flying French guard Tom Digbo is a very exciting prospect, and he signed with the Brisbane Bullets in 2021. After an amazing preseason, he was ranked 64th on ESPN's Top 100, but unfortunately that would be the peak of Tom Digbo, because he would average 4.6 points per game, 1.5 rebounds per game, 1.1 assists in his 1 year in Brisbane. Unfortunately, Digbo would enter the 2022 NBA draft and go undrafted. He would sign with the Motor City Cruise of the NBA G League, but left after 1 game. Currently, Digbo is playing in France's 2nd division. I believe Digbo should have stayed in Brisbane 1 more year, or at least stay in the NBL and sign with another team. I didn't include Ryan Rupier and Ariel Hipporti because they are still in the NBL as next stars, so that leaves us with 12 players, 5 players drafted to the NBA, and 1 NBA All-Star. The Next Stars program has delivered many NBA players and has served as a great alternative to college basketball, and the NBL is a legitimate pathway, but due to programs like Overtime Elite and the G League Ignite, the NBL Next Stars program has struggled to get Americans. The Next Stars program is now mainly a pathway for Europeans and Australians to take, but I wouldn't be shocked if a big name from the USA like Bronny came to the league, since more shocking things have happened before. Now let me ask you, what do you think of the NBL Next Stars program?